Hey guys, I got a quick one for you today. Somebody asked in the comments, what would happen if the AI stock market bubble popped? Now, if you watched my last video from yesterday, you know that I don't think it's a bubble per se. I think that there are some companies, a handful of companies that are definitely in a bubble state. OpenAI, Palantir, Tesla, just to name a few. But there are other companies that are benefiting from the frenzy, but they're not bubbles. Okay. The ones that are solid would be Meta, Alphabet, Google, Meta, Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, and then who am I missing? One more, Microsoft. Okay, those are solid companies. And then solid companies but are really benefiting would be Oracle and Nvidia. And so what do I mean by that? Well, just to sum it up real quick, if AI disappeared, those companies I just said right there would still have products that make tons and tons of money. They would still be 100% hugely successful companies. Okay. The first five that I mentioned, though, would be much more successful than the last two, which derive a large benefit from the AI frenzy as of now. However, Palantir, OpenAI, these companies, these are 100% if the bubble, if AI disappeared, they would be screwed. Okay, actually Palantir wouldn't, but they would in the sense that Alex has built his cult following on the belief in AI, but actually true AI will destroy Palantir. There will be no more Palantir because you won't need it. Okay, so if there was a bubble and it pops, okay, you don't have to worry as the average Joe in America, because these companies are not backed by the government. Now, Sam Altman and his lackeys have been asking the U.S. government to give them a backstop. You probably heard about this on TV. But so far, the Trump administration has been very firm, and Basant has been very firm. I always say his name wrong. It's been very firm in the fact that they are part of the free market capitalist system. They're not a bank. There will be no backstop. If they fail, it is on them. So that means that the taxpayer will not bail them out. OpenAI is a privately held company. Okay, it's not trading on the public market. So you, average Joe, don't have any money likely in OpenAI. So you won't get crushed. If you're in Palantir and Tesla, you have all your money in them, and there was a bubble and the bubble popped, yes, you would get crushed, but you're not getting bailed out for that because stocks are not like bank insured deposits. Okay, if I go to the bank, I deposit up to $500,000. Bank goes under, the government bails me out, right? That's what FDIC insurance is. That's not the same with stock. If I invest in a stock and the company goes broke, that's my fault. That's the risk that I take in the stock market. Okay, so if Palantir goes to zero, if Tesla goes to zero, it doesn't matter for the people involved. It doesn't matter for the average U.S. taxpayer, for the average Joe. For those that are involved with it, yes, they would lose a ton of money. But just remember that the majority of Americans are not investing in single stocks or even the stock market, period, outside of the fact that they might have a 401k or retirement plan or something like that. Most people are not retail investors. So the large majority of Americans would not be affected in that way. Other than that, their retirement plan might get hit, okay, because these index funds would come down. And obviously, if there was a bubble, the market would overreact. It would go down. It would correct, but it would definitely come back. Would it come back as high? Maybe not. Maybe it would take a long time to rebound, but it's not like it would crash down to zero. Okay, because again, there's a lot of places, people would start looking for real value. They say, hey, Alphabet's a company that has real value. Apple is a company that has real value. Okay, that's what would happen. The money would flow to the companies that have strong financials outside of AI if there was a bubble and AI crashed. Okay, so that's my thoughts on that. Now, a U.S. GDP would likely take a hit. It might even push it into recession. Some people argue that it would. I don't think technically it would, because we're at, I think the last report was 2.8 or 2. I can't remember the exact figure off the top of my head, but I don't think it would knock us down that much. We do have a pretty large economy. But even if it did, yes, that would be problematic, but it wouldn't be like the money printers are going on because of that, i.e. AI crashing. Money printers are going on anyways, not because of AI though. Okay, they're going on because of what's going on with quantitative easing. They're trying to get liquidity back into the system. Okay, so it wouldn't be like the other crises that happen where the Fed start printing money because of those crises. Okay, so if the money printers go on, it won't be because there's an AI crash. It's because of something else that's going on right now. Okay, so anyways, Jerome Powell just hinted that they might do that, start buying assets again. I believe he said as early as January, or maybe next month. I can't remember when, but they did announce that at the last Fed meeting. So that's what I think about the average Joe. I don't think the average Joe would be hurting too much. Obviously, the economy would, but it's not like our taxes are going to go up. The average Joe has a lot more to fear than that. Okay, and here's the thing: the AI bubble is not going to pop, because even if certain companies do pop, the simple fact is AI is not going away. The companies I mentioned are making tons of money off of AI already, the solid companies, okay? As I said yesterday, Alphabet and Meta are improving their systems. Just for two examples, they're improving their ad process. They're improving their data centers from AI. They're already making billions of dollars over the years from the improvement in AI. We know that Alphabet said that 35% of its code, I believe, is what Sundar said, is being written by AI. We just heard Robin Lee from Baidu say that 50% of their company code is being written by AI. We heard Robin state that, they've served 12 million robotaxi rides, largely depend on AI. Alphabet's in the same category, right? So AI is already generating a lot of value. Robin Lee from Baidu, he said it best when he said that we need to flip the pyramid, right? The pyramid right now is that all the revenue is going to the chip makers, and we're going to flip that pyramid. And we're going to bring value to the apps, the AI apps. Okay. And this is what Amazon, Alphabet, Facebook, Apple, that's what they're going to do. The ones in the bubble are XAI and OpenAI. They're Claude, Anthropic, they have a huge problem. The huge problem they have is they're betting 100% or nothing on on AGI. That's their only way out. They're not going to make money on these chatbots. These chatbots are simply put not worth it. China, Google, Meta, they're trying to commoditize the chatbots. They don't care about the chatbots. Not that they don't care. They know that the chatbots is a race to the bottom, and that what they're going to do is they're going to add value on top of other services through those chatbots. Okay, China knows this, OpenAI knows, Facebook knows this, Google knows this. Okay, but OpenAI, XAI, Anthropic, these companies, they don't. Or if they do know it, all they're doing is they're praying. They're praying for AGI. That's what's going on. Okay, so hopefully all that makes sense. That's what I got for you today. All of you out there, have a great day.